My first memory with StarCraft 2 or StarCraft in general was there was this PC cafe back in Mexico next to a Yu-Gi-Oh card like dealership thingy, and that's everyone used to play their StarCraft. So that's actually how I got into StarCraft. I was, I think, like maybe 8 years old or 7. I don't even remember, to be honest. So old, so time ago. Childhood in Mexico was, pretty fun. I was in a middle class school, so I was pretty good at football actually, or as Americans call it, soccer.
Like many best players of the early days of StarCraft 2, Special had a decent background experience with Brood War, and even Atosis praised him for being a very good player who might come to Korea to train there, and it was a very good prediction that would one day become true.
There was back in the day this guy, I forgot his ID to be honest, but he was like my teacher. I was like 10 years old and he played Terran, so I think that's the reason I played Terran.
Major, that was his nickname in Wings of Liberty, transitioned to StarCraft 2 not as early as other players. He also didn't have any big breakthrough results on the international scene, at least for the first 2 years. However, already in 2011, Major became the best Latin American player and soon became one of the best Terran players in the whole Americas. Despite such a good start of his career, Major was still having a lot of issues early on. He would often switch teams and even nicknames, and his behavior sometimes left much to be desired. He was a very promising, but also a controversial player at that time. But he was just young and really passionate about the game, and even Atosis noted that he's just a total kid.
Honestly, I was very immature back in the day. Like, back then esports was very new to us well, so it was not as professional as it is right now. At least in the West. But honestly, like every team I had, I tried my best, and I think maybe I was not the best, but I don't think they have a bad expectation. No expectation, bad. A bad taste about me, because I actually try my best, and I always try to do good results no matter what team I was. 2017 is like when I kind of got my shit together, and that's when I just stick to Special and change to that name to get a new start and to keep going like that, and that's what I did.
2012 was the first really big year for Special. He once again proved his dominance in Latin America and went to play in the qualifiers for the World Championship. However, it was a tough balance period for Terran players. If you watch my video about Broodlord Infestors, you should know that Zerg was kinda OP, and the Terran race was probably the weakest at the moment. And to make it even worse, WCS 2012 North America was infested with Zerg players, and there were some tough Protoss players too. Major, however, was considered to be one of the favorites on this tournament, but suddenly dropped in the very first round after losing to Fitzy here, a rather unknown Zerg player. Fortunately, Major still managed to pull out a great round in the lower bracket, even showing some great games versus favorites of the tournament. Even though Major didn't win the whole thing and eventually lost to Idra, he still secured the 4th place, and it meant he would participate in the Global Finals, possibly his first time fighting against big Korean names and just the most skillful players all over the world. What was also very admirable, he was among 4 Terran players on this tournament. That was already an achievement itself during that balance phase of the game. But his group was probably one of the toughest. He got both Curious and Hero to play against, really dangerous opponents. There is also one important thing to mention. At that time, the gap between foreign players and Koreans was just too wide. While esports was only growing in the West, in South Korea it was already a very established career path. The attitude was completely different, and every foreigner knew, if you want to become something more than just an average player, you need to go there and train there. And luckily, Major's dream came true. As he was a very promising talent, he got accepted into Team 8. Later it would become Jin Air Green Wings. He was actually the first StarCraft 2 player outside of South Korea to become a Pro League player. And this is the most prestigious team league ever.
A-Team, it was more like there was like a schedule that you have to follow. If I remember correctly, I think it was something like this. We woke up by 10 a.m. Then we were like free until like 12. And then 12, like free meaning like breakfast and free time. Get ready, shower all the time. Then I think it was 12 to 4 practice, and then 4 to 6 was lunch and free time. Then 6 to 10 was practice again, or 6 to 11. and then we were free. But most people would play until like maybe 1 or 2. Honestly, compared to the other Kespa teams, it was not as hard. But yeah, during the practice hours, you were not allowed to do anything other than that. Play, watch replays, or watch your teammate play. The language was very hard at the beginning because I didn't know anything. And honestly, I started learning Korean like a year ago. So I didn't know any Korean. So that was a really bad thing by me. I should have learned. Honestly, if I study a little bit every day, it would be good. Funny stories. I don't know. Back then I was really fat, and they like they used to call me the Buddha Terran. Well, not really the Buddha Terran, but they say I was like Buddha. So I guess that's a little bit funny.
During 2013, Major would play in both WCS America and in South Korea, but for the first half a year it was very difficult for him. He wasn't good enough yet, and even though his progress was steady, the whole StarCraft 2 pro scene was just stacked with amazing talents. South Korea dominated every region, including WCS North America, and Major would even sometimes struggle against local players. After 6 months of precious experience living in South Korea, the situation got worse for our hero. Team A was looking to cut somebody because they needed to reduce the expenses, and Major was fired. This was just a heartbreaking moment in his career. For many people it would be a very tough situation. You were living your dream life and now you got back where you started, just an average player who is overshadowed by many others. It was a hard period of his life, and to be honest, it's indeed a depressing situation. However, Special didn't want to give up. He was committed to StarCraft 2 and he knew he had all it takes to become a great player. He began transforming his attitude.
I didn't get really serious until like 2016. The end of 2016 is when like I was getting old. I don't remember how old I was. I'm 29 right now, so we can do the math later. So I'm like back then I decided, okay, I'm gonna try my hardest, because I knew I had potential. Like I was good, but I was not like top tier. So I tried really hard from the end of 2016, I would say. No, it was not the balance or anything, it was just me.
During the next 3 years, Special was gradually improving his playstyle and becoming better. But apart from his career, there were many great changes in StarCraft 2 itself. First, in 2015, Legacy of the Void was released. The new game was actually a lot more dynamic and featured a much better balance than previous expansions. And second, StarCraft 2 was hit with a huge match-fixing scandal. I made 2 videos about that and I highly recommend you to watch them, but in short, the Korean scene drastically shrinked in size and a lot of people lost their jobs. The competition got easier and damn, it was also damaged by the region lock, and many Korean players were disallowed to play anywhere but in their home region.
Region lock was such a controversial topic because I think after the Kespa teams died, the region lock was a little bit of a meme, but also I don't think lifting it all up would have been the right choice. I liked if they did something like qualifiers and they allowed some players in, like I don't know what a number, something, but they didn't do that. So I don't really, to be fair, I mean I'm not gonna lie, I did benefit from being region locked because I played in Korea and in the foreigner tournaments. I was allowed to, but as a Korean you were not allowed to do that. So I did benefit from that, but I think it was a little bit unfair. I think they could have done better.
Between 2015 and 2017, StarCraft 2 had a great reshuffle. Many Koreans lost their opportunity due to teams and sponsors leaving the game, and as for the international pro scene, it was also losing talents rapidly. Many great players who had been competing for years were retiring around that time. And now, as you guessed, there was more space for new players to compete, and Special would soon become one of the greatest. Around that time in 2017, he traveled to South Korea once again. At that point, he was already a new man, a champion mentality, ready to conquer new heights of StarCraft 2. There was that big foreign team house, and Special started his training alongside all the best foreign players.
2017, I think that's when I started that. Oh, I mean, it was pretty nice because it was motivating to see other people play. So I would just play as well, you just whatever, you just play. And I started seeing results, so that was very enjoyable. It was a good point for my career, to be honest. I think the best times I ever played was when I had like people next to me playing, like back in the teammate house. I was pretty good back then. Even though I didn't play much, I was really, really good.
Soon the practice paid off. He qualified for GSL 2017 and started constantly competing against the world's best players. But what's more important, he was also traveling to WCS events because, unlike Korean players, he was allowed to play in European and American tournaments. This was his time to shine.
So Special, I remember as a fan watching him, like many, right? I do remember my earliest would be when he played against Serral, and he ended up winning against Serral with this hidden planetary. I think it was an IEM or a DreamHack, so that was kind of cool. And I remember thinking at the time, it's great to see, you know, a Mexican player playing at that level, because in SC2 it's good to see representation in different regions, especially the fans. They get really into it, they root for their players, and it's just better for the game overall. So it was good to see someone like him make a splash like that.
As I say, 2017, 2019, I was pretty good. Like, really, like, my best. So I knew, like, 'cause eventually I was gonna get to the final, because I got to, like, top 4, like, I don't know, 6 times, 5 times in a row. Not, I don't know if in a row, but like during the last 2 years. So I know eventually it had to happen.
Throughout 2017, Special was the best Terran player outside of South Korea. He finally unleashed his true potential, and his combined results allowed him to participate in WCS Global Finals 2017. His group stage, however, was just insane. Stats and TY, possibly strongest representatives of both Protoss and Terran race, are his first opponents. So let's see how it went.
And that would be one hell of an upset to start this WCS Global Finals.
He's getting closer and closer. He's unpowered now, the Robo, and that's going to be it. GG! Special does it. Our first series in the WCS Global Finals is an upset.
That's not great.
Ouch.
TY does have upgrades, 1-1 as well as everything for his bio, but he only just recently started his Marauder production, thinking that was Marine tank versus Marine tank for a long time.
Marine's getting dropped to the outside here. TY trying to pick off those Liberators, and he will succeed.
That was a nice pickoff right there. Just
Two more on the way, though.
A little out of position for Special. Yeah, they're already on the way, already halfway across the map.
Oh, could pick off a tank. Nice little pickoff here for TY, but he has to do better than that. More of the Hellbats coming in. The Cyclone's actually doing some damage as well. The natural CC is getting very, very low here.
Oh, he's gonna have to
lift or repair or something, but his Vikings, damned if you do, damned if you don't. He's pulling the boys here to try and hold on. TY is taking so much damage. Something grab, is this it?
He has no army. He's like half the army.
And this way, Special found himself in the top 8. It was the highest achievement ever for any player from Latin America. Next he faced a Laser, whom he dispatched with haste, and then it was the time for the quarterfinals match against Su. Whatever the result would be, his name was already in the Hall of Fame.
As Roddy pointed out, there is an anti-air until now. Here come the Hydras. Is Cloak here? I don't think so. It's going to die in the background, and Special's in a lot of trouble. This could very well be the beginning of the end. 2 siege tanks does come forward, but they're dead. That's it. GG Su makes it easy in the semi-final and is going to the grand finals of BlizzCon.
Special became the first player from Americas to achieve top 4 position in the global finals, and so far, no other American player has ever repeated or surpassed his result. The next years were incredibly successful for Special. StarCraft 2 was also free to play now, and the scene started growing again. Competition was probably on its highest too, and Special never failed to deliver. But there was one thing still missing. Despite these successful years, Special never managed to reach the finals of any premier event. But finally, after 2 years of many great tournament results, Special went there at WCS Spring 2019.
I think that time was the first time I beat Nib in the round of 4 or something. Yeah. And before I would always lose 3-2 to him in the round of 4 back when he won everything in 2017.
He's got the Zealot! Big pick up there for Special. Another one comes in from the gateway at least. But that's not 2 gateway units, it's just a 1 now. Special's got these Marines on body block. The SCVs are keeping the Marines safe here. Whoa. Special gets forward, he gets the bunker. Oh no! That's it! Special has done it! He's got his first WCS Grand Final appearance in his entire career.
So it was nice. I mean, I got to the finals. I got destroyed by Serral, but who doesn't, right? And honestly, my TBC has always been my weakest point, by far.
However, from 2020, Special's results started to decline. After all, he had been dominating his local scene in Latin America, as well as many WCS for 3 years consistently, but now things started to get a lot harder. both in his local region with many new great talents such as Chairman Kelazur, and in WCS tournaments too. Serral, Raynor and Clem were just crushing every other player.
The game style kind of changed a little bit. I changed. I started taking care more of myself. COVID hit, so it was a lot harder to, play online. It was less motivating. I also got older. Everyone forgets I'm 29. I'm not that young anymore, so it gets harder and harder. It's not an excuse. It's just things change. But I think I'm still pretty decent, to be honest. Like, I don't think I'm a horrible player or anything like that. I think I can do pretty well, and I'm trying my best, especially for Katowice.
Obviously, the next years were a lot more disappointing in terms of results. Now he was an older person, but with his years he gained many positive traits of a character. From a rather bad-mannered player, he became a very charmful one. Even though Special changed many teams during those periods, it was still a pleasure to work with him.
At first, he was here nor there whenever I asked him to do stuff, but then as soon as he realized the potential that the team really had, as far as I'm aware, he was on board with just about everything. He worked with us like tooth and nail and would go out of his way to be at events. I asked him to go somewhere, he'd be there. Did everything that a player is expected to do within a team.
He's really cool, right? He's fun to be with, he's very chill. I like hanging out with him. I got to know him when I went to visit DreamHack Montreal when True was there, so that's when I got to know the Special that is a really cool dude, right? Not this guy that you may think he is, right?
Despite his decline in game, Special was working on other aspects of his life. During COVID-19, he started his body transformation, and it was an inspiring journey to follow.
When COVID started, I don't know, I didn't even think about it. I just started like dieting. I didn't know what I was doing. I just diet. I didn't even do exercise. I just walk. Yeah, 2021 is when I joined the gym for the first time, and it was so hard. But then I enjoyed it, so I just kept going. It's pretty fun. I like it a lot, so I just do it now.
Now Special is a member of Sidestorm team, and he is preparing for Katowice 2023. And the good thing is, he still believes in himself and his skills. And now let's take a look at his practicing routine and schedule.
So right now I'm practicing for Katowice. So this is what I'm doing right now. I'm waking up around 11 or 12, mostly 12. Having some kind of breakfast and going to the gym. Coming back around 2, 3. Then just doing things like maybe watching on VODs. Then maybe start playing like at 4 or 5, depending, because in Korea that's when they start playing. Sometimes even 6, to be honest. So sometimes I might take a walk around, or sometimes I go twice to the gym, but that's like rare, maybe once a week. And then I just play, watch VODs, watch replays, and play until like 2. And then I like to watch YouTube. I'm not too much into TV shows. I like to watch. Nowadays I'm watching Shark Tank. Mr. Wonderful. I love it.
However, Katowice 2023 is going to be probably the hardest global finals for Special. On the one hand, the new patch that's supposed to come out soon is kinda favoring Zerg race, and it doesn't look that great for Terran players. On the other hand, his group is really stacked with amazing players, and it's going to be a tough battle.
So Katowice 2023, I hope he reaches top 8. At least that's my personal look on maybe his current form. I know he did really well in BlizzCon in I think 2017 or whatever, and advanced pretty far. That may be his peak. I don't know if he's anywhere near his peak form right now. Hopefully he has a run and goes top 8. Top 4 would be amazing, so we'll see. I think he would know his form the best. I'm really interested to see what he says about how he'll do.
I'm playing pretty good, to be honest. I don't know, I'm practicing hard. It could be a bomb or it could be a bomb out. I don't know yet. It's gonna be what it's gonna be. I just wanna leave. Well, I wouldn't say leave. I just wanna go there without any regrets. Like if I lose, well, that sucks. If I win, well, that's gonna be great.
One of the main strengths of this player is how versatile he is. Special isn't known for one particular playstyle, and even for me it's very hard to describe him with one word or two. Throughout 12 years of his career, he did everything that's ever possible with his race, from cheeky cheeses, proxies and push timings to incredibly high skill macro games with all the late game units. Special excels at every stage of StarCraft 2, and that's why he has been a formidable opponent for all his life in esports.
I play completely different. I know, because I'm 29, I know if I go and I play like Clem, who's 19, or I play with like Maru, who's 22, I'm just gonna, you know, it's not gonna work. I cannot do it. I can do it, I mean, I just cannot do it as good, if that makes any sense. So I have my own playstyle, and I like it. I think it's not bad, honestly. I think I'm a pretty smart player.
So this has been a wild career, and what's really important, it's still ongoing. Even this video can't comprehend his 12 years of life and different experience, but I hope I did my best to describe this wonderful journey. My part ends here, and I hope you enjoyed it. Now let's hear from the man himself, and don't forget to check out his links in the description.
I've been playing for 2012, that's 11 years I've been playing StarCraft 2, that's a long time, you know? And I've always been competitive, no matter the year, I've been competitive. You can think right now, even now I'm competitive, like, I don't think there's a player that goes against me and says, oh, this guy is super easy. At least I like to think that. So I've been competing 11 years, it's been a good ride, I really enjoyed it. It would mean a lot to me if you guys can follow me on my socials, like my Twitch special underscore, my Instagram special SC2, and my Twitter at special SC underscore SC2. My YouTube is gonna be pinned here as well, and you know, just follow, subscribe if you can, especially to Twitch. I'm gonna stream. I really need to stream. I'm gonna stream. The reason I'm gonna stream probably after Katowice. Thank you guys, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been a good career for sure.